Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a great and wonderful day. Now, there's something that I really need to go over with you guys in terms of, woke protesters shutting down highways and all this stuff, and it's getting really annoying. And frustration, I am not surprised, is building up. We're going to show you a clip of a guy kind of showing and going over some of this stuff, and I'm also going to criticize this guy's stupid remark and dumb remark because it doesn't make quite sense. The fact that we're getting angry is not really helpful for you. It's actually on the downside for you. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, take a look at this.
Another update on the Seattle I-5 protest. Cars have literally reversed direction on the freeway to get out of here. The plan is to continue holding, though, even though traffic got rerouted. And the protesters have formed a marching circle. Yeah, there are no plans of this stopping anytime soon, so I'll keep posting updates. The time is 4 p.m. Here's another update on the Seattle I-5 protest. The police are approaching. As you can hear, people are very upset at them. There are still hundreds of protesters here blocking the freeway. These 5 cops here think they're doing something just by standing here. The freeway has been shut down for around 3 hours at this point. And to those of you saying that, oh, this isn't the right way to protest, your anger means the blockade is working.
Listen here, you fucking little piece of shit garbage man. No, the reason why people are angry is because there are a whole bunch of people that need to get either organs transplanted. There is fires happening that maybe fire trucks need to go to. People have jobs that they need to go to. They have time. They need to put food on the table. There's ambulances that need to get to the hospital to save a life. There are many reasons why people are angry, you shitbag. And part of the reason why the whole reason why we're getting angry, it's not for the reason that you think it is, you moron. The reason why people are angry is because of the things I just mentioned. And it's not the anger for the Palestine crap. If anything, they're making angry at you for blocking and ruining their lives and everything else because of that. Think of the matter of this. I would always put this into the case, right? Always this. What I would do is each time somebody dies or gets seriously injured or becomes whatever have you during these protests, these people should be charged for manslaughter because they have prevented that person from getting medical care as fast as possible. Now, if there's normal roadblocks, normal traffic jams, this shit happens, then yeah, of course, that is understandable. Like, you can't really prevent that in most scenarios. But if there are people actively doing this stuff and they're blocking the highway, and people die because of this, they should be charged for manslaughter. Because that is something that they're willing doing. And you too, little fuck nugget, should also be arrested as well for doing something like this. So, yeah, the anger is well placed. It is not being angry for the Palestinians. It is actually going to make it more negative for the Palestinians, honestly. Because, people are not going to feel remorse or sympathy for people that are blocking their daily lives just so you guys can have your little yell match for a country that's not even there, right? So there's that. We have a bit more footage though of them, blocking the highway and all that. So we're going to show that now.
The I-5 highway in Seattle, check it out. The SPD is on the megaphone telling the protesters they're going to get arrested if they don't move. I'm here live, so I'll be posting updates as the day goes on. Free Palestine.
Esteban, a huge traffic disruption in Seattle today as pro-Palestinian protesters blocked the northbound lanes of I-5 in Seattle for nearly 5 hours. The group of about 100 protesters stood in the freeway between Denny and Olive and also used vehicles to block the road. KOMO's Paul Rivera was there as this all played out. Paul, take us, if you will, through the day here.
Well, Michelle, the protesters told me they want a ceasefire in Gaza, and they were ready to cause a disruption in order to achieve that goal. Well, they certainly did cause a disruption today, although some drivers who were out there today might disagree strongly with their methods. Let's take you back. This all started around 1:30 as the protesters made their way onto I-5, chanting that they want to stop to what they call genocide in Gaza. Drivers, they had to be detoured onto I-90. At one point in the afternoon, we saw an ambulance stuck in traffic. Other first responder vehicles, too, were trying to get through the area. This continued for hours as State Patrol calmly stood far away and allowed them to continue to block the interstate. A dispersal order was issued by Seattle police. It was not followed. Then a second one was issued, which was also ignored for about half an hour. Eventually, it was the weather that might have helped clear everyone out of the cold rain. It turned into hail, and there was lightning in the sky. We talked with those protesting today about why they're doing this. What do you say to people that are just everyday Seattleites trying to get somewhere that are upset you're causing this disruption?
So we hear you, and we apologize for the inconvenience. I'm sure that the goal and the target is not commuters, is not average people trying to get from A to B. So we invite those people to examine the complicity of the U.S. government that we live in the genocide that's going on in Gaza. We invite them to look at what is actually happening.
So it wasn't until close to 5 p.m. that the protesters started to walk away, but then they left a line of cars blocking the interstate. Ultimately, though, those cars were all towed away. So those protesting, they're going to have to go and get their vehicles back. Now, while it is illegal to block the interstate, Washington State Patrol told me tonight in a statement that no arrests have been made, but they did say they are still investigating. They also say they have information now on those 12 vehicles that were left behind. Michelle, they said it took so long for law enforcement to move in and to break this up because they say they didn't have enough resources and they needed to call extra troopers in. Michelle?
Now here's the damage that's being done here, right? First, we're going to talk about the very end of the clip to where they're saying, like, oh, we didn't have enough resources because the Seattle public and the Seattle people reduced the funds, for the police to actually be able to send them, so maybe that's true. But then we also have the fact that, I noticed how I said there was an ambulance there and, where they're blocking ambulances from getting to some places. Well, hopefully there was nobody in serious trouble or anything because, that may be a problem. We may actually do a research on that a little bit just to see on if really there was somebody that died due to this. Because, maybe they were carrying a organ that somebody desperately needed. And then you're saying it's like, oh, well, it's not to target them. It's for them to realize. Do you realize that maybe they don't care about your stupid march and they just want to go about their day doing their jobs, trying to put food on the table? You are preventing others from being able to do their own jobs and their work, to put food on the table, to save other lives and stuff like that. And if they get fired, then the people that got fired should immediately be able to sue all the protesters, every last one of them, free of charge, by the way. So that way they can get all kinds of revenue from them, because they are upending other people's lives for their stupid agenda, for their stupid protests. Now, like I said, I am not against protests. If you are not going to be harming other people and stuff like that, and you want to protest and you're doing it to not to inconvenience others, then by all means protest. But if you're going to do this and inconvene other people and try to convince them that what you're saying is right, you're not going to be doing that. You're doing the exact opposite. I can't stand scoundrels and garbage for doing this. And another thing too is that the police did not actually do anything. These people were defenseless. These people didn't have weapons. You could have easily have dealt with them with a bit of tear gas, with a little bit of this, some way of dealing with these people. And honestly, if death does happen, I want people arrested. I want people charged for manslaughter, because this is what needs to happen. On top of this, I also want that laws to come into place if there are people that are doing this, they are eligible for anything else that comes forth them. harder penalties, harder punishments, because this is ridiculous. This needs to stop. I am literally getting tired of all of this constantly going and having other idiots ruin other people's lives. It's just astounding to me, us as a country, we're allowing this to happen. It is disgusting, and it needs to be dealt with. And people who are not from our country, that are on visas or whatever, have their visas revoked, kicked out of our country, and the people that did or are in our country and are still doing this, they need to be arrested and they need to be charged for whatever happened during that protest that they were doing to inconvenience others. End of story. I am becoming a little bit repetitive, but that is just the way I think that should be done. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.
I'm disgusted by what I see in public. Even people closest to us can't be trusted, 'cause it's algorithmic disease, the social media.